morning, beloveds. I don't know where this yellow tint is coming from, but it is what it is, right? Okay. I have gotten up, gone to the gym, come home, taken a shower, did my protein shake. Now we are going to do this, and then I'm going to go to center, and we're going to have an amazing service. So, it is September 10th. Our title is Faith in the Promises of God. Our author is Ethel Barnhart from her lesson at the Santa Ana Church, Arcadia, California, 1950. All right. We are told in the Old Testament that Abraham's faith was a faith in the promises of God. He was promised that his descendants would cover the earth if he listened to his guidance. He did not know where he was going when he left his home on faith, but he heard a call from the little voice within. He could not see where he was going. There was only a promise that if he would follow that voice, that's all. He had faith in the promise, and the promise was fulfilled. Our faith in the promise of God, that God dwells within us, and that we are one with him. We are God's children. We are God's children now. Our faith is in the promise that a new being, transformed, the child of God within us, the Christ Jesus self, can be actualized in daily living. Our faith is in that promise of a God of fulfillment, a God who does have the power to fulfill in spite of anything. Faith is believing where you cannot see. Where there is no possible way of seeing how it could happen. Faith is in the invisible promise that says, "It shall be done unto you, for I am the Lord your God. My arm is not shortened. Whatever has been done before, I can do now." Faith is acting on the promises of God. "Look unto me, and I will save you." Faith is acting on the promise that God will not stop short of that fulfillment. "Look unto me, call upon me, I will deliver you. With long life I will satisfy you." Faith that works above people's belief at a rate of vibration above time and space, and knows how to bring Spirit's presence and power and glory into human experience to fulfill every human need. It is this kind of faith that is needed today. You are a ray of spiritual power shining ever out from the heart of God. Well, that was only volume 1, number 4. Kind of makes you want to read the rest of it, right? I think it gets attributed to Martin Luther King, but faith is taking the first step when you can't see the whole staircase. And that's effectively what she said. There are a number of things that we take on faith when we have no idea what we've gotten into. I picked up and moved across the country a couple of times, not knowing what I was getting myself into, in the faith that in the end it was going to be okay. And some mornings, that's exactly what it is. You get up in the faith that it's going to be okay. It's like, you don't know how you're going to get through it, but you know you are. Because you're going to lean into that strength and that power that is within you. That's why we talk about the source of your being. And that's what she said. Kind of in the middle there, where she did a lot of Bible quotes, and I love it when they quote Bibles, but they don't tell us where they quote them from. And you're just like, well, what was that from? But she said, our faith is in the promise of a new being transformed, the child of God within us. The Christ self can be actualized in daily living. Our faith is in that promise of a God of fulfillment, a God who does have the power to fulfill in spite of anything. Now, it does say in spite of anything, but we are required to do our own work. We are required to listen for that voice and to accept that guidance and to practice that presence and to practice that Christ self that she talks about. It's like, I talk about the Christ self like it's software. Okay. My mother is an electrical engineer. So of course I'm going to talk about it like it's software. It's factory setting. The Christ self is a factory setting. You come pre-installed with that factory setting, and the password to activate it is love. And so if we activate the Christ self and actualize the Christ self, and we listen to that small voice, then we can't go wrong. Even if we make a mistake, even if we make a misstep, if we're listening, if we're paying attention, we're going to be guided right back onto the path. And so one of my favorite quotes is, it's all going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. We'll get through it. And that's one of those things. And recently I've seen, there was one, it talks about, how, it's like God never promised that we wouldn't have difficult days. What God promised is that God would be there with us during our difficult days. And that's what we have to lean into. When we come up against stuff that is hard, we want to lean into that support. And interestingly enough, we can lean into the still small voice within ourselves to lean into the source of our own being, but we can also lean into the visible manifestation of God on this earth, which is our support community. When you find that community of like-minded people, what we also like to call our tribe, when you find that, you can lean into that when things aren't going the way you think that they are. I'm sure that Abraham took many a journey and was like, what have I gotten myself into? Trust me, in my life, I have looked around and gone, what have I gotten myself into? I went into ministerial school with one idea and came out with a completely different idea and went, oh. And the funny thing is that had I asked anybody around me, they probably would have said, no, this is what you're good at. And I would have gone, oh, okay. So, but your community is God made manifest. So you can lean into that for support as well. So it's interesting. She's talking about the God of fulfillment. And that's one of those places where we want to look at the what, not the how. Okay? And because God will always surprise us with the how. Just because we expect it to look one way doesn't mean it's going to. That's why we don't get to tell God how. We get to say, this is what I want. This is what I desire. This is what I need. We don't get to tell God how. Because if God is going to be the God of fulfillment, then God is going to fulfill it in the infinite number of ways that God can, that we have no idea. And so I think that's another reminder. If you have not had the promise, whatever the promise is, fulfilled, then maybe you are holding on too tightly onto a how. And that's something, I did say we have to do our own work. That's something we have to be willing to let go of. That's something we have to be willing to let go of. God's going to do it in God's way. All right. I think it's a very long one and there's a lot in here and I'm not sure that I'm going to do her justice, but I think I've done as much as I can in the short period of time that we have. I do commend to you Ethel Barnhart. I think that this is amazing because she starts off talking about Adam, then talks about us, the reminder of who we are, that we are children of God now, and that we are, that we come with the Christ consciousness already installed. Faith is believing when you cannot see, where there is no possible way of seeing how it could happen. Faith is the invisible promise that says, it shall be done unto you. Just because you can't see the whole staircase, take the first step. That is what Ethel Barnhart is telling us. you'll get there in the end. You'll get there in the end. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it, I'm going to use that last line that she's got down here. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to know that we are a ray of spiritual power shining ever out from the heart of God. You are a ray of spiritual power shining out from the heart of God. That's the mission today, to know who you are. And when you know who you are, when you know the source of your own being, it's easier to accept that still small voice guidance. It's easier to take that first step on that staircase that you can't see. It's easier to practice faith when you know who you are. All right. So that is the mission today. The other mission is the same mission I give you every day. Do something loving for yourself. Do something kind for yourself. Do something compassionate for yourself. What I'm talking about is the spiritual practice of self-care. Okay? And it can be as simple as a deep breath before you speak, and as complicated as taking a vacation, and anything in between. I'm also going to remind you that one of the things that I like to say is to eat dessert first, which, okay, one, I believe chocolate is the first step to fixing anything. Two, it's a reminder that your life is a special occasion. Don't save the good stuff. So wear the nice clothes now. Use the fancy dishware, china, what have you, more than just that one occasion of the year. Write in the nice notebooks, burn the nice candles, do that kind of stuff. Do the stuff that takes care of you mentally, physically, and emotionally. I also want to remind you that joy is a quality of God. No matter what is going on in the world, you deserve joy. So I'm asking you to make room for joy in your life, okay? It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You still deserve joy. So make a little room for it, and then make a little bit more. All right? Okay, the rest of the suggestions are the easy ones. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. Drink plenty of water. I don't know if we're under a heat advisory today. I don't know if we broke the record yesterday or if we're going to break it today. I just know that water is extremely important. Mine has some trace minerals and some lemon and some stevia, because trace minerals don't taste good. And it's very hydrating. So drink plenty of water. And then I also want to encourage you to get that early in your day bright light. I was up before the sun this morning because because I go to the gym at 7:00 on Sunday mornings. So we got to watch the sunrise, and then the sky was orange, and then it wasn't. And then when we got home from the gym, the clouds were exceptionally white and the sky was exceptionally blue. It was really pretty. And I was just like, I like that. I'm going to take a picture of that. Because you know me, I'll take a picture of anything that I think is interesting. So, but I did get that early in my day bright light. Between 7 and 9 in the morning, 5 to 10 minutes on your face and forearms. It'll help to reset your circadian rhythms. It'll support your vitamin D. Okay? So those are the basic suggestions. And then I'm going to remind you, Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. We are living in a world sourced by God, of God. Everything around us is God, which means, it's all God all the time. So heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. Once we recognize that and realize it's not a place we have to physically get to, once we learn to create that state of mind for ourselves, then heaven can become any place we are. Especially when we recognize, the source of all of our beings. So, and that's kind of what she was talking about today. Faith, knowing. All right. So learn to create that state of mind. When you learn to create that state of mind, you become an island of peace, an island of calm in what can be a fairly messy material world. And then people come to you to rest. And then you can hold your light up, and then they can learn to create their own heaven. All right. We can't do it for him, but by God, we can hold up our light and we can hold our island of peace and draw them into our peace rather than being drawn into their storm. That's the goal. That's the goal. And that's how we create a world that works for everybody. All right. So, and you can always take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise him. Okay, I'm at the social media part. I'm going to remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. I do encourage you to check that out. There's hours of content on, both YouTube channels and the Facebook pages. The Instagram can be a little spotty. They connected them and then walled them off, and I'm just like, I'm working on it. So, we're there. We're there. We try and post light, bright, funny, and enlightening and helpful stuff. So check them out. And if you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the Constant Contact. And the Constant Contact will get you, as I lose my train of thought here, the Constant Contact will get you the hot links. In the Constant Contact, in the email, it says click here now. It'll either take you right to the information you want or to the person that can help you get it. All right. I clearly need to wrap this up. So, I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day. A faithful day, a take the first step day, a do your own work day, a get to know who you are day, a knowing it's all good day, an activating the Christ consciousness day, a ray of shining spiritual power day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough. Just as you are. You are a beloved child of God, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are a shining ray of spiritual power. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you're a godling. All right? Know the truth of your being. Explore the truth of your being. Peel back the layers of who you have been told you are and get to know who God knows you to be. It's pretty cool. I promise you. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. But since it is Sunday, if you're watching this on Sunday, we're going to have an amazing service for you at 11. So you can either scroll up a video or you can check us out on YouTube, because I generally have it up Sunday night. So whichever is your pleasure. All right, beloveds, take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.